Well, shocking scenes we saw coming out of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Looked like a scene from a movie or from a video game. Gunshots and people arrested. What happened? It was an attack on the state's secretariat, an attack on the assembly complex. It was an attack as well on the seat of government in Oyo State. A lot of people shocked. But let's get you updates on what exactly is playing out in Oyo State. And we're joined this morning by Mr. Fatai Owoseni, Special Advisor to the Oyo State Governor on Security Matters. He's also former Commissioner of Police in Lagos and Benue States. Joins us via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Mr. Owoseni. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Brief.
Good morning to you, and good morning, viewers at home.
Well, it's just hard to sort of wrap our head around what we saw playing out in Oyo State. Some thought, was this a movie? Was this a script being played out? Is this real? We saw a woman amongst those who were arrested, some of them with charms and the rest. So for those who are probably just waking up and seeing this news and they're like, wait, what? What is going on? Can you just give us a quick explainer of what happened over the weekend in Oyo State, which we know for peace and tranquility?
What happened is what everyone has seen, that some miscreants just put themselves together under the guise or the auspices that they are warriors of Yoruba nation. But at the same time, if you followed the trend in Nigeria, you have secessionist agitations in the country. The Boko Haram issue and ISWAP thing is there, about wanting to claim territory. You have the hype up in the southeast. And of course, it's not the first time that we've been hearing of Odua movement agitation and Yoruba nation. And why Ibadan? Ibadan is the epicenter of the southwest. The Ibadan Secretariat has its historical background. The State House of Assembly, which used to be the Western State House of Assembly, is also historical. So that those miscreants had used that place as a launching pad, probably for analysts and, of course, security analysts. It could be explained, but like I said, I would still say, oh, these are miscreants that I had indicated before. That seems to be on some kind of cheap drugs. And, just like some movements that they will indoctrinate them, call it hypnotism and all those things. And they think they can play a kind of stunt and get recognition. So that's just it. We woke up to see them. And of course, because they've been on their track, it was easy to dislodge them when they started the madness.
Well, I'm not sure of how to describe that, but I know you use the word miscreants. But when we look at the recovery they made, it's not something to easily dismiss. I have the record from the police: 291 live cartridges, 3 pump action, expanded cartridges, 69 cutlasses, bulletproof vest, and all of these things. And one wonders, despite how formidable that area is, how come they were able to penetrate and even hoist their flag at some point?
Look, like I said, for security analysts, when you have such movements of people that have been indoctrinated, liken it to Guyana tragedy, liken it to the Jesu Oyinbo crisis. These are people, it's like a movement that would have been promised heaven and all those things. From a little interrogation, we've had some of them saying, look, there's a proclamation that a Yoruba nation has gotten independence. Our people are not getting job. Once we take over power, we give our people job. And it's fun that some of them are some occupational groups, carpenter and whatever, bricklayers that have been told, you guys go and be meeting. Once you are able to achieve the rundown of the system, you can be sure all of you will be given work. And in such kind of movement, there is a little bit of organization. They must have been putting themselves together and recognizing the fact that we must own up to it, that in the country, there's proliferation of different armed groups, some even under the guise that they are doing private security guards. So it's a accumulation of what has been happening in the country that has not been checked. But this time around, a kind of a mistake was made. Yes, they came in, they entered the secretariat, and they were doing what they wanted to do, maybe under the influence of some cheap charm givers that have said, oh, maybe they won't see you when you are doing what you're doing. Yes, they came in there, they were doing what they were doing, and some of those things failed them. And I also mentioned they were being tricked as they were moving. So it was easy to quickly dislodge them. And after that, so many other things are taking place. Because if you've been watching the viral video that has been going on of somebody saying, oh, a proclamation had been made, and some people issuing threat order, you will look at them as some people that probably need psychiatric examination. Such things, sometimes you have them when people, like Karl Marx would say, religion is the opium of the people. When people have been promised paradise to say, look, go and do this, you can still expect more, because the people that have made promise to them have told them that it's salvation. It is you going to get work and live very well. So even if they arrest thousands, some people will still come out because they believe and they've really been indoctrinated to say that, yo, it's salvation for you. So many other things that happened before then. Areas where were discovered to be their cells, where they've been doing things, have been posted. More recoveries have been made. More revelations had come out. And I think it's something that can easily be put, controlled. And of course, it will serve as a lesson. You are likely to have more. In Yoruba land, we started with having OPC and all those things. It's been there. And we have a country with no institutional memory. Some governments have declared some of these organizations as banned under the law, but they still operate. People in politics and the government still hobnob with them. So when you have such a situation where there is no continuity of enforcing and keeping to, policy and laws that have been made, you will have all sort of people putting themselves together under different name and different agitations.
So much to follow up on, sir. But let me quickly take a second look at Jeffrey's question as a follow-up. It would seem like security operatives dropped the ball because these invaders gained access into the secretariat. That's on the one hand. Now let's take a second look at some of the weapons found with the agitators: pump action, cartridges, cutlasses, 5 bulletproof vests, 6 pairs of boots, megaphones. This suggests a huge amount of preparation had gone into this, and perhaps recruitment, considering the number of people that were said to have been found among the invaders. So there's a failure of response on the first hand, immediate response, and on the second hand, failure of intelligence. How come this had been brewing in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, over time, and it wasn't nipped in the bud before this happened?
Let me tell you this, and we have to be sincere. When you talk of failure of intelligence, agreed, not just in Oyo State or the Southwest, all over the country, And when you talk of intelligence, intelligence is not just left in the hands of security personnel. There is what is called HIMINT, human intelligence. And when you don't have support of the people who will say something and say something, you will have such failure. And an explanation can also be given to that, where there's lack of confidence and when there is mistrust between the governed and the people that are governing them. It is just a given. When you now talk of response, I can tell you that the response was swift enough because information was gotten that, a kind of movement is noticed in Ibadan. And when you get intelligence reports like that, you also want to be careful as to when and how you respond. You want to probably check how many number of people are we dealing with? How can we probably get them in an enclosure? I had also mentioned there's proliferation of all sort of militia group in the country. It's not limited to the Southwest. You've been seeing what is happening in the Southeast, in the Northwest, and all those things. It's just that the Southwest had been able to control this. Ibadan, why Ibadan? You know how large Ibadan is. You know what Ibadan is to the Southwest. So you have different groups. And I had mentioned, even under the guys that they are doing private security guards, infiltration of weapons. It is not just about the Southwest or your state alone. There's so many weapons. You see all the people that are in the so-called big men in Nigeria, legitimate weapon and illegitimate weapon. We've been a little bit careless in the country. So when you have such a situation, you will continue to have this. And I'd also mention, when you have soldiers of unemployed people, it is easy to hypnotize people. It is easy to promise them heaven and earth. And it is easy to mobilize jobless people who had been promised to say, just go and do this. That is why you have suicide bombers. Yes, very unusual in a place like Ibadan and Oyo State. But if you look at the expanse of Oyo State alone is all the 6 states in the Southeast combined. Oyo State is bigger. So when you have such a territory, you will have different kind of things.
Right.
And of course, the response that came in, it's like they were waiting for them. It was massive and it was immediate as of the time it happened. And that was why it was easy to dislodge them. And I had also mentioned so many other things that happened after that. We've been able to get information as to, okay, this is how it started. More arrests have been made. More materials have been uncovered, and it will continue, and they can easily be suppressed.
Well, Mr. Washini, I imagine that you would understand why a lot of people are apprehensive. They saw how Boko Haram started and what it spiraled into. I mean, we're marking 10 years since the abduction of Chibok girls, and we've seen more abductions and killings since then. We know how IPOB started in ESN and how it's even spiraled out of control. So a lot of people are worried and thinking, is this a start of something even worse? I know you've seen some of those videos, different individuals declaring sovereignty, calling it the Democratic Republic of the Yoruba. The Yoruba nation here in Nigeria has dissociated themselves from that group. But seeing those videos, they're shocking, naturally, because a lot of people, as I said, didn't see this coming. So I'd like you to speak to us about the mindset of Governor Makinde and the next line of action, really, because all of the attention on Oyo State, which I've said is known for peace, is not really good.
His Excellency has continued to be on top of the situation. Call it like a war room. The situation room has been created where the security heads have been interacting with the governor. It appears shocking, but don't let us deceive ourselves. Even when OPC started, it was worse in Lagos and in some other places. And more have been coming out. This is not the first time you will hear about this Yoruba Nation thing, Odua movement and all those things. And some other splinter groups that have been coming out in the Southwest. Ibadan is the epicenter. We've been controlling it. We've been, managing the thing until these people came out. And what makes a difference in this one is probably from what we've seen on the viral video. We've made a proclamation. Go ahead and take your rightful leadership and all those things. And preliminary interrogations are also giving some insight as to what could have, motivated these people. And in security, when you have such a thing, what you do first is to do a lesson learned. And the state has been doing that. His Excellency Governor Makinde has continued to meet with all the security heads on a daily basis when it becomes necessary to call a quick one to say, oh, we've heard that these people even have a training camp somewhere. Oh, how much of intelligence do we have from there? Can we quickly move? We continue to do what we're doing. We've learned lessons. Nigeria, not just your state, we have that. Because when you are saying that, some people moved into a school in the daytime and took 200 students away. And you see, it's all over. We just need to rejig our security architecture. We need to engage more with the people. If you have drones, if you have CCTV camera, you cannot play down on human intelligence. And that is why whenever and when we are ready to solve the security crisis in the country, we must get the grassroots involved. We must get our traditional rulers involved. We must get landlords involved who rent houses out to these people. Human intelligence is key when you talk of intelligence and you're solving security problems. So we've continued to engage with the people in your state. That is why here too, apart from Motekum, that is a grassroots thing, we've continued to engage with our people to say that you are part of it. The philosophy behind modern policing is the police are the people are the police. We must awaken the consciousness of the people. The country is one of the country that will rank least when it comes to security consciousness, when it comes to people listening to security advice. Everybody's looking for what to eat, how to earn a living. So as far as they are concerned, it's the least of their problem. Once they can go out and earn a living, not until when it affects them that they come out. So how do we awaken the consciousness of our people to say that you are involved? You don't know who is going to be the next target, who is going to be the next victim. We continue to work on that. We've been working on that for some time. You'll find out that for us in Oyo State, it has been that things are becoming more and more peaceful because of the engagement we do. Maybe we need to redouble our engagement with the people, which we are embarking on. We redouble our activities to make sure that we carry the people along with what we do. And I believe with that, as you get more and more people, consciousness awakening. Some people will still do it. I've mentioned Guyana tragedy. Even when people are dying, people are still putting money. This Igbo was doing what he was doing. Some people will also say, oh, a jihad is about going into martyrdom. So when you have all such of things like that, and a jobless soldier of people, you will have people who will get indoctrinated. Even if you ask them to come and drink acid, they will drink acid to go into martyrdom. So it is not, as per security analysis, it is nothing really new.
Mr. Oshani, you described, with your own words, miscreants, and some of these people are the lower ebb of the society in terms of their level of income. So I don't think they are the problem. How far is the Makinde administration ready to go in collaboration with the federal government to go after the sponsors of these people? Because all the time we see these foot soldiers. They're not really the problem. They are just foot soldiers. They get a command from source. There are people that are driving them. And we've always looked at the federal government, the state government, and the people in authority to go after the big guns. They never get them. Are you ready to do that? Is the government of Gov Makinde ready to get the people behind them?
I can assure you it is ongoing. On a need-to-know basis, information will be given out. Information has been gotten. Most of those people that are making those viral videos are not even in this country, and in collaboration with the federal government. I'm aware that the executive governor of Oyo State, His Excellency, had briefed the president, and where we need collaboration with the larger security system at the federal level, it will come in, and it is ongoing. That is why I say when you do things like this, it is not everything you come out. On a need-to-know basis, they're working on that. More revelations have been made. More things have been uncovered since that incident, and they are going after all of them. And I mentioned to you, you know what Oyo State is all about. We've had actors that had lived larger than life, and if we've been able to have a kind of interaction with them, some of them either tamed, or some of them have been warned to say, look, you can't turn this place, you can't use Ibadan as a launch pad to come and say you are doing another HISWAP or another hypo. You should know that the state somehow has a capacity, to get around this, and we are not relenting. We are doing that, and there's so many things have been happening before now that is not out to the public. So we continue to do what we do covertly to ensure that these people are tamed and that they don't use this place as a launch pad. Why I said miscreants on cheap drugs, if you listen to some of the things that you are saying, how do you really go around people saying, oh, if you get into the secretariat in Ibadan, we've liberated the whole of Yoruba land. You still have some other states in the southwest. So you will see the incomprehensible nature of the way they talk and all those things, like some people that are high on certain things. We will not relent. We've, sit down. When things happen like that, you sit down, you do a lesson learned. Where are the gaps? What did we do right? What have we not done right? And where it requires that collaboration should be made with neighboring states, which we are already doing. We have also highlighted them. Where it requires collaboration should be made with the federal level, which the security agencies are doing. Some of the information that are gotten by the military is being analyzed at a federal level. The DSS is doing their own. The police is also on top of what they are doing with regards to making sure that information that are being uncovered are not just left in Oyo State. They are being thrown out. And of course, if it requires that they should even track some people to outside the country, we will do that, and will not relent on that.
And when you answer this way, it suggests to me that perhaps it's some sort of confirmation of some of the things that you perhaps insinuated earlier on when you say that sometimes some of these agitators or politicians are seen hobnobbing with the agitators. And you also said something about, I'm trying to remember some of your words now, that politicians are identified with, some of these weapons. So when you talk about Ibadan not being a launch pad for another type of ISWAP, is it a confirmation of your meaning about politicians being identified with some of these agitators?
You are in the media. Some of the things I said are not new. You know what happens in this country. You know the way we've been a little bit not too careful with our intelligence, not too being careful with the way we handle our security. Give it to the Southwest. The Southwest had remained relatively calm. Oyo State has invested so much on security infrastructure. And of course, even with regards to breaching the gap in unemployment rate, that is why the state had invested so much in agriculture as well, to get the jobless people into agriculture. So all these things, you have to do them together. You can't leave one aspect and say you are facing this. For you to have adequate security, you must also look at unemployment, the joblessness, the country, and how to get our people productively engaged. And in security, you cannot say 100%. If you are not tested, you will not know where you have gaps. All nations of the world, it's when you are tested that you will sit down. The thing there is that it allows you to sit down and know where you have gaps, and then you can address those gaps. That is what they call lessons learned. That is what they call institutional memory.
Well, we understand that other southwestern states have also on high alert for a possibility. So we'll, of course, be watching to see. But just quickly as we wind down, can we confirm whether or not the lady who appeared in that video, I think her name, Mojupe Onitiri Abiola, and the other man, have they been declared wanted?
Look, you first need to process what those people are doing. The lady that you're talking of, her name is not new in Nigeria. She used to live in Lagos. You've heard of some other names of some people who are outside this country, just like that fellow who used to, give instruction to the people in the Southeast. So all these things that are unveiling are not new. They are things that we've been living with, but they are coming up to now exert themselves. So, and like I said, when you're handling things like this on a needs-to-know basis, information that will be given out will be given. And you also don't have to open your mouth too loud to say, oh, we are closer to these people. There is someone in Ibadan here who is also a lady who has a semblance of that person on the video. Things that happened within that period. Houses have been busted. Information, vital information that could lead to getting to the root of things have been gotten. And of course, we make sure that we guard those information properly so that we can use them as evidential value, and to get to the root and to the bottom, and those people
okay, Mr. Oshedi. I totally understand. We just wanted to confirm, because there had been that call to declare her wanted. We'll be speaking with former Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Benue State, now Special Advisor to Oyo State Governor on Security Matters, Mr. Fatai Owesheni. Of course, we'll be following up on this one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll take a moment now on the show, and when we return, there's another big issue on the firm burner. It's a packed show, absolutely. Stay with us till the morning brief.